Here's the thing about data. It can inspire you, amaze you, electrify you. But if you let it, it can also overwhelm you. Making sense of data is one of the biggest business imperatives of our age. Sourcing it, interrogating it, trusting it, applying it. And for those who crack it, the future is theirs. Data equips us to challenge conventional wisdom, to reinvent, to test, to mess up, to learn, to grow. And when you combine trusted data with human insight, your customers come closer, your people feel valued, and the planet will thank you. So welcome. Your own ta-da moment starts right here.
Hello world.
Bonjour.
Hola.
Salam alaikum, namaste.
Ni hao, привет.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hello World 2021. My name is Asha Sampat.
And my name is Hayley Edmonds, and it is our great pleasure to be your hosts for a day of exploration and inspiration. We are live here from the global headquarters of Orange in Paris. And today we brought together 30 speakers from around 20 global firms who will be sharing their stories of digital and human change. They are some of the most illustrious thinkers and doers, and they all have one thing in common.
Absolutely, Hayley. They have one thing in common. They're turning data into ta-da moments and creating magical experiences for their customers, and in turn generating greater loyalty and higher revenues. We'll be hearing their first-hand experiences today of using data to differentiate their brands and reducing the environmental footprint.
And to make sure you don't miss a thing, you can follow this event in your preferred language. We have translations simultaneously in French, Mandarin, Russian, Spanish, and of course English. Just click on the flag at the bottom of your screen.
And to help you drill down to what interests you most, today we've created Tada TV with two channels. Channel 1, Tada 1 here, and Tada 2 later. You will be able to follow lots of things going on the other channels too. So Tada 1 is for professionals in digital infrastructure and operations, while Tada 2 later on is for digital business innovation experts. And you can, of course, choose between these two different channels. It's very flexible. Just use the tabs in your agenda.
Now, we're keen to make this event as interactive as possible, so don't hesitate in sending us your comments or your questions in the chat. We have our team monitoring that. And of course, if you're on Twitter, don't hesitate in using the hashtag HelloWorld21. And we'd love you to rate each session. So please click on the buttons after each session.
Well, we'll start this event together today and find out how firms are actually accelerating their digital change. And then you can deep dive in the areas that you prefer, right? We'll have a wide choice of programs. And I think, Hayley, with that in mind, we have a poll question for our audience today. Hopefully you can see it on your screen. So there's a question popping up. What outcomes are you prioritizing in your business over the next 18 months? 4 options there: customer experience, employee experience, operational efficiencies, product as a service. It's a tough choice, I'm sure. All seems very important there. So we'll wait for 30 seconds. You have time to answer that. And we hope that, we'll have the chance to comment a little bit the feedback we receive from you. And you can also interact with us, like Hayley just said. So you can send your questions, feedback, remarks, or just say hello from whichever part of the world you are in right now.
That's right. As you said, we're trying to make this as interactive as possible. So please take part in the poll. We're really kind of deep diving in right off the mark. We want to hear from you. Just tell us what outcomes are you prioritizing in your business over the next 18 months. And in fact, we have the results in real time.
Yeah.
Customer experience is leading at the moment just half of the votes. Employee experience is also an important point for you. Operational efficiencies, product as a service. As we say, the percentages are slightly changing, but with still customer experience is dominating.
ahead of all the other. But I think those are all those different topics are topics that we will cover today.
Absolutely.
And obviously, I think almost, let's say, 50% on customer experience, so more than 50%. So that's changing. I think we're influencing them. We shouldn't say that, Hayley.
Place your bets.
Okay, so there will be other questions coming up during our show today. So feel free to interact with us and settle back, enjoy the day, and let's get started. Hayley, I'll see you later.
Yeah, enjoy.
Enjoy.
Thank you very much. So please welcome Helmut Reisinger, CEO, and Kristof Symons, EVP of International Business at Orange Business Services. Helmut, today's event is, of course, turning data into ta-da! How can firms surprise, delight, and keep customers coming back for more in a world that's never been so competitive?
Well, as you say, Haley, and the world has never been so competitive, but it has never been so digital. So let me first say digitally hello to our customers. It's good evening to our friends and customers in Japan or in China or in Australia. Of course, it's good day to our customers in Russia or in Europe or in Middle East and Africa. But it's also a good morning to our teams and customers in America or in America Latina. Well, the world has become very digital first. And as recently we have found from McKinsey that actually across the world, the pandemic has accelerated this digital first movement by 7 years, which means you, us, you, the customers, and us together with you in co-innovating together in this digital first world have really jumped in our experience in the adoption 7 years. And that's, I think, an incredible number to look at. We see it as well in customer experience, the one that you just rated #1 in your priorities. Over the past 3 years, the number has tripled in terms of digital interfaces with customers. And today, about 60% of customer interactions are done in a digital format. And hence, I think this notion of digital and data in general is becoming a key part of the design of products in the manufacturing process and also across the supply chain in the care. And why is this possible? It's possible because we are in an even more connected world. For us at Orange Business Services, and you know, our credo is to create positive impact as a network native digital service company. And this connected world is well represented here by the 56 billion connected objects. Think about it, that's 7 objects connected in the world per capita. And this, of course, gives a different experience, both for the customer, but also in terms of productivity, which is this competitive edge that you, Hayley, talked about.
Yeah, can you give us some examples maybe of the connected products or devices that you're talking about?
Well, I think we all experience at home, but also in our professional life, that it's about automating instantaneously consumables, for example. It's about, in different industries, driving the there is one chart that I wanted to show you of this. It's driving as well the connectedness towards objects. Look here on this circle, you find some prestigious customers of ours, and you see different industries. It starts on the top with world shipping, for example. And you know very well, we have seen through the pandemic that supply chains globally are super interconnected. But if something is disturbing there, then suddenly, if connectivity is not good there, then we see how fragile our ecosystems are, that we are interconnecting. You see it in healthcare with Siemens Healthineers there. How important was it that we have instantaneously the data from the first vaccine series in Israel available to the whole world to learn? Is it effective or not effective? Or if I take the case of Sony, there we are helping them, of course, in connectedness, both for their business in LA, which is the Sony Pictures business, but also in the production chain. So you see it's about productivity and customer interfacing where this connected world really drives impact. And the automotive part that you see as well there is really becoming very prevalent because we see they follow the case model. It's connected, it's more and more autonomous, it's more and more shared, and it's also more and more environment friendly. And I think digital plus smart plus green go very well together.
I can testify that the automotive sector is transforming rapidly. But you mentioned, you know, smart buildings, for example. Do you have any specific case studies?
Yeah, if we look into different pieces, we can take an example here of smart urban areas, and there was one picture that was floating through your screen maybe. 60% nowadays of close to 60% of world population is living in urban areas, and it's going to be up 68% in just about 20 years. And what we have done in talking about this traffic ecosystems is also for Mobileye, an Israeli-born company, now part of the Intel group, and they have connected 40 million vehicles. And we are there, if I may say, transponder with our smart mobility services, providing IoT for safer journeys and also lower carbon emissions. How is this done? It's a combination of their technology, super perfect onboard cameras, and then a machine vision algorithm. But all of this is only possible if you can rely on trusted data that is transported over trusted infrastructures. And that's our IoT, Internet of Things connected. And that's what we call to create positive impact or tada moments. But outside of the automotive sector, there is, of course, you have other partners or customers. I'm taking Kony as an example. I saw in the on the screen just then. Do you have any more information on the collaboration with them? Yeah, this was the example we would like to share in this urbanization theme. That, of course, it was interesting to see that the two highest rated were actually customer experience and workspace experience. So it's the human touch that counts there. And Kony is a good example. It's, as you know, it's a Finnish leading company in terms of elevators, in terms of escalators, in terms of automatic door systems. And look here, what we have done is we created and enabled the Kony connectivity service, which is making sure that there is proactive service available when needed if a machine breaks. It's only possible thanks to connected, trusted data and good algorithms that they have also developed on their platform, Kony Connected Services. And in addition, then, you need to have the human touch. And this is what we have been doing by converting also into a cloud-based customer experience platform, so that the Kony knowledge workers, we could call them KKN, Kony knowledge workers, actually are able to proactively already handle topics before they're even perceived by us as a user of these fantastic products. Trusted data and human touch, of course, are themes that we're going to be discussing in depth later on. Thank you very much for bringing up that example of Kony. Now to you, Kristof. You're in charge of Orange Business Services international activities, and you're obviously exchanging with clients and customers every day. Can you give us some insights into the new digital platform that is required to create more connected customer experiences?
Thank you, Haley, and hello, everyone. Well, the new digital platform needs to be able to first collect, then, of course, transport, but also protect, and then, of course, process, after which you should have the analysis, and then, of course, also be able to share the data with the employees that can then take faster decisions, better decisions, wherever they are. Now, in this day and age, a new digital platform also needs to do something else. It needs to ensure that you can monitor, but also you can improve your environmental type of footprint. So it's all about water, waste, about energy and fuel there. And of course, we've got a great example there with one of our clients that is a large water management company, and they're delivering services to the pharmaceutical sector, but also to the food and beverage sector, where together with Orange, via IoT and via artificial intelligence, they're able to monitor but also benchmark both water flows but also the energy flows that are required to move the water around. And in the same way, we've got solutions together with the logistics companies to reduce their fuel, and also with shipping companies, thanks to platforms that have both IoT, satellite, cloud and data science to reduce their fuel consumption. Now, to be more concrete, Haley, there's 4 elements in a new digital platform. First is hyperconnectivity. And that goes together with an intelligent edge, I should say. And that is all about companies needing to do or to connect more things, more people in many more ways. And that's also about the data that is not only flowing between different functions within an organization, but is also flowing between organizations within an industry ecosystem. And there, of course, the intelligence comes from finding the right type of connectivity for the edge device. whether it be 5G, LoRa, satellite, etc., Wi-Fi, whatever you can think of, that's the combination to be made. Now, the second element for a new digital platform is obviously around the cloud. It's probably more about being more open, modular, but also cloud native type as infrastructure. And that goes also with an as a code type of approach, which enables us to both implement, but also manage at speed and at scale. And there as well, the data is living now both in the public cloud, the private cloud, but also on-premises, and that makes notions such as data sovereignty and also data privacy much more important. Of course, the IoT and the edge are growing exponentially, and you need to orchestrate and automate that. And of course, work is not a place anymore. Working from home and hybrid working is there to stay, and that needs to happen as well. Now, the third element of such a new digital platform is obviously cybersecurity. And here it's all about zero trust networking. And that means that it's kind of identity aware and also context aware in terms of its access to the cloud, and that you can protect your data from wherever you are, but also however you access the data sources out there. And the fourth one might surprise you more because we believe that it's agile. So it's not only a digital change, but it's also an organizational change. It's not only about hyperconnectivity, cloud, and cybersecurity. It's also about the human touch to such a digital system. And that means as well that the way that you connect all of those dots becomes very important, because in the end, if you've got those 4 steps, you need to ensure then that you put the data into the hands of the employee, thanks to mobile, also thanks to augmented devices in the factory. And if you do that, Haley, you've got a perfect new digital platform.
Winning formula. Do you have any examples of firms that have successfully implemented this and are performing well in this area?
Sure, and let's stay in the area of agile for a way, because our first example here is Mars, US company. And why? Because they've gone into agile in a very big way. Their CIO told us that they don't need to innovate just at 10 times the speed, they need to innovate at 100 times the speed. And that means as well that they needed to revamp their whole infrastructure. And that's what we've done. We've done a walk-in takeover, as it's called, and then transformed the infrastructure to a much more software and virtualized type of infrastructure, allowing Mars to also take faster decisions in terms of the business. A second example is Midea. This is over in China, and it's a large Chinese conglomerate delivering appliances. And here their business challenge or opportunity was to bring their appliances across the world. And to do that, they needed a cloud-native environment to ensure that they could deliver business outcomes to their clients. Another example is the International SOS, which is a company that delivers services, emergency services, and they were very busy, by the way, during the pandemic, to travelers or to expatriates that are maybe in trouble due to illness or due to civil unrest. And here, of course, the interaction with the client, the end user, is very important. And there we've created an omni-channel experience, so contact center experience, but also we've done the security around that. And also we've created a cloud that finds the balance between the innovation, but also the data sovereignty, which is very important, of course, when you're in the healthcare sector.
Helmut, with all this in mind, do you have any advice on how firms can win the trust of their customers in this experience era?
Well, we believe that technology is an enabling part. Digital is only made then possible and creates the outcomes if it's combined with the business, with the métier, as you say here in Paris, or if it has this digital touch in terms of customer experience. And therefore, our digital business consultants across the world are here to help, to explore with you, because we have 4 key principles for our company and for our 28,000 staff across the world. It's number 1, customer first, to really understand well your challenges that you're facing. Number 2 is people empowerment and co-innovation with you, the customers. We believe, goes hand in hand with what Kristof said about agile, that we are together faster in adopting certain new solutions for your business, for your competitive edge, or for your differentiating customer experience if we co-innovate this together. The third is simplification. We need to keep, for your own business, think simple. And the fourth is, of course, keeping our promise. And with that, we believe the magic formula is really enabling technologies, but then we, as Orange Business Services, again, network native digital services company, to orchestrate this complexity for you so that we have a good business outcome that is simple in the customer experience as well.
Thank you very much, Helmut, and thank you, Kristof. Okay, so before the traffic becomes too one-way, it's time we heard from you with your questions. Thank you, everyone who has already reached out to us, sending your questions or comments in the chat. We have one question from the audience. I'm sure it's one that applies to many of you watching today, and it is for you, Helmut. So managing data that are at the heart of any digital transformations can be challenging with different regulations in countries and regions around the world. So how do you go about dealing with that?
Well, first of all, the audience, I believe, knows that we are present in more than 100 countries around the world. So naturally, we are working in all of the digital ecosystems or theaters around the world. And we know there are notable differences of data and the way how you need to protect it, whether people can trust it. That's a different connotation, whether you live in country A or country B or in region C or in region D. And therefore, what we have seen over the past years is that geopolitics, unfortunately, has driven a real fragmentation across digital ecosystems, not only because of technological fight for sovereignty, but we are a trusted player, and we want to stay as a trusted player in all of the digital ecosystems, whether this is in LATAM, whether this is in the US, whether this is in Europe, whether this is in Russia, where we are the only foreign operator with a country-wide license in Russia, whether it's in China, whether it's in Japan, etc. And this is only possible thanks to our local teams and expertise, and to understand well what are the customer challenges versus what's the regulatory framework. And I think it's thanks to this expertise that we are able then to provide, we talked about customer experience or digital workspace, a seamless experience. Clients that we talked about before, if you speak about international SOS, they want to have for their customer care staff in healthcare emergencies the same service, whether they sit in Singapore, whether they sit in Moscow, whether they sit in London, or whether they sit in Sao Paulo. That's critical to them. And therefore, we, as Orange Business Services, strive to have this capability as a trusted partner for your digital transformation in whichever ecosystem you're in. And here, to give you a concrete example, because that shows the innovation that we are driving, in light of the impact of COVID pandemic that hit also here, the home country, France, of our company, we have started and we've seen the challenges for the public administration. Not everybody was equipped well with a digital workspace. And therefore, we have launched an initiative this time together with CAP, Gemini, and we create a joint venture together, which we called Bleu, for the national colors of this country here, for a sovereign cloud. But the new thing is we combine the need for, on the one hand, sovereignty, and on the other hand, the drive for innovation. And in collaboration, as you know, Microsoft is very strong, and that's why we've decided we're going to use for this type of sovereign cloud in France, specifically Microsoft Azure Office 365. And this, you see, there can be an external shock, but it drives us even further in terms of our innovation so that you have a good outcome and hopefully a good impact.
Yeah, it's good to hear. Thank you very much, Helmut. Now, keep your questions or comments coming in, and we'll do our best to answer them throughout the event. Next up, I spoke to one of Europe's leading CIOs to share his experience on digital transformation with me. I'm delighted to beam in Peter Breland, CIO Europe at AB InBev, live here at our studio in Paris from down the road in Leuven, Belgium. AB InBev is best known for brands such as Budweiser, Beck's, Corona and SAB Miller, but it has well over 500 beer brands in its portfolio, making it the world's biggest brewer. Welcome, Peter.
Nice to meet you, Haley, and very happy to be on your program. And as you see, I'm surrounded by one of my favorite beers and a great setting.
We've invited you here today to find out how AB InBev has accelerated its digital innovation in the last year. What insights can you share?
Well, the first thing we did is we moved from a project-based mindset and organization to a product-based organization. In the past, we used to run projects in a design, build, go live, and support mode. And slowly, those applications would die off as they lacked investment. in this new approach where we treat everything like a product, we make sure that we invest on a continuous basis. The second thing we did in this space is we adapted the agile methodology. If you look at today, our products, 75% of them are already delivered in an agile way. Next year, we plan to move that to 100%, and our velocity improved with 200%, and the average NPS improvement of the products that are already performed in that agile methodology increased with 58 points. And the third thing, and probably the biggest enabler for our organization, is we adopted an internal DevOps organization.
That's very interesting. Thank you. Now, can you share with us a few examples of how this is having a positive impact on your customers?
For retail customers, we're moving them not only to EDI, but we're taking it to the next level with VMI, which is a vendor managed inventory. And then based on min and max stock levels aligned with, of course, our customers, we take the responsibility of ensuring our products are available in their distribution centers. And if I take a couple of examples in the consumer space, we are investing more and more in direct to consumer or D2C channels, where our consumers can order our products online, but not only our products, but they can also order experiences. For example, I ordered a couple of months back during the Euros, I ordered the Jupiler Party Kit, which came, with the umbrellas, with the full draft equipment, to really enjoy the experience of organizing a game at home. Unfortunately, the Red Devils lost against Italy, but it was an amazing experience. And then maybe one last example in this space, the company's purpose is to bring people together. And we're actively building out what we call a B2B2C platform, which aims to own that digital intersection between ABI, our customers, for example, a bar, and then the consumers. This will give the consumers the ability to order a beer at any time, any place in a bar, allowing to pay it digitally and gather loyalty points, which then can be redeemed again against a range of offerings we give, like free beers, a ticket to Tomorrowland, or any other sporting event.
So looking further ahead, which technological trends do you predict will have the biggest impact on your business in the future?
So the first one I want to highlight in this space is IoT, or Internet of Things. And as those sensors are becoming more cost competitive, we are seeing more and more applicability for use cases in the brewery of the future. For our most critical machines, today we already have sensors that not only monitor sound, but also vibration and some other metrics, and that allow us to plan maintenance. So we predict when we need to do the maintenance of our machines, and as such, reducing downtime and improving the productivity of our breweries. 5G is another example of technology that we're starting to experiment with. I think also very relevant to the business of Orange, with the importance of connectivity. Another example, which is actually already used, is smart glasses, which we use to do remote assistance with our blue-collar workers and ensure that the expert, which connects from a distance, can help fix the problem. The other example are smart cameras. So smart cameras are already used today to detect problems on the lines that are deployed across our sites. And we also believe that more autonomous vehicles and robots are definitely a key trend that will help us create this brewery of the future. So again, very important area for OBS to ensure connectivity at all times. And last but not least, we see a huge opportunity with technology to help us achieve our sustainability goals. So we've announced that by 2025, we want to reduce CO2 usage across our supply chain network with 25%. And we're piloting a technology to extract CO2 from the air. It's part of our 100 Plus Accelerator program, which is aiming to find solutions for the most pressing environmental and social challenges of our time.
Thank you so much for your time, Peter. That's been a whistle-stop tour of your digital transformation journey.
Thanks for having me, Haley. It was a great pleasure.
Right, so let's go back live to the Hello World event. Who'd have thought beer bringing people together? And I definitely think Peter wins in the office decor stakes. Thank you very much for sharing your digital transformation story with me. It's affecting every sector, as we will find out in our next inspiring story. After 150 years in the reinsurance business, where its customers are big insurance companies, Swiss Re is adding retail to its portfolio through a digital startup. It offers end-to-life, health, property and casualty insurance solutions for its partners, such as retailers or automotive brands, enabling them to sell insurance via their trusted brands without developing their own digital platforms or obtaining their own insurance licenses. Philip Ringenberg from Orange Business Consulting caught up with Stefan Seeger, Managing Director at Swiss Re, early this week to find out more.
Hello, Stefan. Thank you for joining us today. We are really fascinated by the dynamic changes in your industry. Swiss Re has been operating in the field of reinsurance for more than 150 years. While reinsurance remains its key earning contributor, Swiss Re is diversifying into areas like white label digital insurance platform, providing that to brands like IKEA, Daimler, BMW. Why is this?
Hello, Philip. Yes, it's certainly an exciting time to be operating in the digital fields in insurance and reinsurance. We finally have arrived as an industry in the age of digital as well. By combining our vast risk knowledge together with expertise in the fields of technology, data, and risk management, we can provide new services and solutions to a wide range of customers and partners. Ultimately, we enable communities to thrive and innovate. It's a win-win and contributing to the overall purpose of Swiss Re to make the world more resilient. Now, when you think about it, buying insurance is a highly unnatural act. You have to think about the future, you have to think about negative things which could happen to you or not, and you are asked to pay money for that in advance. I think it's fair to say that insurance is a difficult product to understand and sell. So how do we want to overcome that? For example, what we are exploring is how can we make insurance coverage an integrated element of other products and with that enable a better overall customer experience. Let me give you an example. IKEA wishes to sell home insurance coverage as part of the overall online purchasing offering. But they don't want to set up an insurance carrier themselves, so they have decided to partner with Swiss Re's white labeling insurance platform iptiQ. They now can offer an affordable and easy accessible home insurance called Hemsäcker, which can be bought in a matter of minutes. Or Daimler, the German car maker, which we also partnering, wants to offer insurance coverage as part of their mobility solutions, like in concept pay insurance as you drive.
I see. Swiss Re is really at a turning point of establishing a new business model, evolving beyond the classical reinsurance business. What sort of digital solutions do you need to address this opportunity? And what results do you see so far?
Staying with the IKEA example, Swiss Re provides with iptiQ a scalable B2B2C digital insurance engine that the participating brands can customize to fit the needs of their customers. The end-to-end omni-channel solution includes a digital sales platform, sales optimization tools, as well as customer servicing and intermediary portals. All of this enabled by data-driven underwriting, state-of-the-art technology, and leveraging behavioral science. Having only started Swiss Re's white label digital insurance platform iptiQ in 2016, this market valuation is already around $2 billion. The growth of iptiQ is a perfect example of a new field of business for us, which goes beyond the traditional risk transfer of reinsurance. Namely, we are combining our risk knowledge with the smart use of data and technology to create insurance solutions for our partners. A great example which underlies our ambition on becoming a data and tech-enabled risk knowledge company.
A digital insurance platform next to your running core business illustrates very nicely the digital twin model. What is very impressive is how fast you could grow that digital insurance platform at Swiss Re. How have you achieved the success? How have you been enabling that digital transformation across your enterprise?
Now, Swiss Re's business has always been about data. Well, at the end of the day, we are selling a virtual product. Additionally, business and IT alignment has always been important. But with this accelerated demand for more data and faster insights, a very agile and hand-in-hand collaboration make the difference. This is the reason we decided around 2 years ago to start a scaled agile transformation, starting with the infotech units globally. We realized that agility at scale is not only essential for us to enable seamless collaboration and alignment between different units across technology, business teams, and partners like Orange, but also enables us to achieve the necessary flexibility and speed. To give you some context, we have globally a team of around 4,500 infotech specialists, around 1,500 internal colleagues, and 3,000 at partners like Orange. In the past, we had 9 big IT units, which we also called super tankers, high stability, reliability, but maybe not that nimble. We've therefore transformed these super tankers within 18 months into 420 digital product delivery units, and we also call them now speedboats. All of them cross-functional teams with around 8 to 12 colleagues, internal and externals. So going agile has meant for us to reinvent the way we work, fully empowering teams and replacing traditional hierarchical structures with the shared concept of aligned autonomy and decision-making. We have found that this has created an engaging, continuous learning environment where our employees feel trusted and empowered to drive the various missions at hand. Through the alignment with our business colleagues, every of our 420 speedboats now understands the unbroken chain of why, and with that, how it will help to achieve the overall outcome and delivery impact for customers.
This is a very impressive transformation, and amazed how you were able to keep all those partners and those 420 speedboats under control. Thank you very much, Stefan, and we wish you all the very best in building on such success in the future.
Thank you, Philip. And you know, I've spent over 2 decades now in the reinsurance industry, and I really have to say that this is definitely a super exciting time to be in the insurance industry, and especially in Swiss Re.
Thank you, Philip. And Stefan. Now, Helmut, do you have something to say on especially the analogy that he used there? It was very interesting.
Yeah, amazing. I'm sure that our other people watching it would agree that moving from 9 super tankers to 420 speedboats, you would think, oh my God, that must be a complexity. On the other hand, it gives massive agility to the business, in this case of Swiss Re, that, let's not forget, is 150 years old, but in constant transformation. And just to show you that in our setup as a network native digital company, let me give you 2 examples that drive this agility or enable this. The first one is on software-defined networking. The promise of software-defined networking is trusted infrastructure around the world, but that provides more agility for your business to be more like a speedboat. Same thing is on what we do in cloud. Kristof mentioned this also in his part about the cloud native architecture, so that you're able to move workloads much easier and to adapt them in a much more agile way. So I love this analogy, and both Peter and Stefan, thank you very much for these insights that we got.
I mean, that was a very interesting look at 2 completely different sectors, but they do have one thing in common, Kristof. We've heard that Swiss Re and AB InBev are pursuing B2B to C and direct-to-consumer business models. But why do you think it's such a key trend today?
Well, it shows the centricity of customer experience and also the digital interactions, plus of course the trusted data. And actually it made me think of a story in a book that actually Helmut wrote together with several thought leaders and CEOs around the world. It's called Impactful Transformations. And actually the quote that came to me was from Dr. Trefzger, the CEO of Kuehne + Nagel, a large global logistics company worldwide. And what he said is that it's really the end customer that is driving kind of everything behind it. It's driving the economy. It's also driving the way that Kuehne + Nagel needs to behave. And he said it's not because you're a B2B company and you're more distant from the end consumer that it's not important. You need to stay very close to that end consumer. And Dr. Trefzger also mentioned a second element. It's very important to create business ecosystems. And for example, Kuehne + Nagel created a business ecosystem where they are coming closer to their end users on the pharmaceutical and also on the healthcare side, thanks to a specific supply chain that they've created for them. And here's the link, of course, with what Peter and Stefan mentioned for AB InBev and Swiss Re, because there as well, it was about the business ecosystem. It was about the bars, it was about the retailers and the connections there. And of course, it was about the digital interactions and the trusted data.
So of course, open modular digital and data platforms are vital in achieving these goals of customer centricity and agile business ecosystems. So thank you very much for your great insights. Now, in supply chains, we see ecosystems at work, multiple third-party specialists from raw material suppliers and manufacturers to logistics and retail outlets. They have to work together to get products to market. We're also seeing the rise of digital ecosystems, the need for lots of different technologies to work together in open, modular platforms. Well, this brings us neatly to our next topic. I'm delighted to welcome Yves Martin, Chief Partner Officer at Orange Business Services. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Ella. Thank you, Kristof. Thanks for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. So obviously, we are all amazed by the speed of change of our world, customer expectation, competition, market demand. Wow. It takes a lot to deliver a simple digital platform, which is open and modular. And it takes partnership. And even the way we work with partners is evolving toward as a service, toward the move to cloud, pay-as-you-go model. I had the chance to discuss this with Elisabeth de Dobler, VP EMEA for partners at Cisco. Let's hear what she has to say about that.
Hello, Elisabeth. Very happy to do this interview with you. My first question is that we see in the industry the constant rise of the subscription base and X as a service, SaaS business model. What do you think it is?
Well, hello, Yves. Very nice to see you as well, and very happy to discuss this. Yes, I absolutely agree. We see that rise, and I think there are three main reasons, and I will briefly talk about each of them. I think, first of all, it's about customers asking for outcomes and hence opportunities for new value creation. Second, it's very much about life cycle and growth. And third, it's about the rise of the importance of the green economy. So first of all, as we know very well, as a service means that we are, instead of offering the product as a capital expenditure, CapEx, we are now offering it as an OpEx or as a pay-as-you-go option. This also allows us to bundle the offerings with additional services and our monitoring. And these services really provide added value to our customers and, of course, additional revenue for the providers. And especially as customers are looking for outcomes as opposed to individual products and services. As you probably know, Yves, in 2020, Cisco committed to provide its portfolio over time, all of it as a service and in a flexible manner. So it's really important to us. Second, it's all about lifecycle selling. We know for a fact that subscription-based firms, they grew 9.5% in the first half of 2020. At the same time, we also know that 90% of profit typically comes after having landed the deal. So subscriptions basically keep customers loyal. They deliver predictable recurring revenue and a stream of data about customer behavior, usage, likes and dislikes, which then allows us to improve our offerings as well. So the whole sales motion of ensuring customers are using, loving, adopting, expanding, and then ultimately renewing our service is core to our joint sales motion now. And finally, and as some people are saying, possibly the hottest topic for 21 is the green economy. These flexible options also allow a greener option, as it's easier for firms to monitor energy usage, but also to adopt sharing economies or circular economy principles. And again, I'm quite excited to say that OBS and Cisco have invested in a joint value proposition from an environmental perspective with the SD-WAN end-to-end solution.
Very interesting, Elizabeth. Can you tell us now the key success factor for this and give us some examples?
Absolutely, Yves, happy to. So I think there's really three main things. First, it's about a complete change of business model. Second, it's about a human and digital change. And finally, it's about enabling a secure and open digital platform. So let me talk in a bit more detail about each of them. First of all, a complete change of business model. It requires, of course, a shift in commercial models. That's obvious, but also a shift in customer marketing and digital service delivery. And here we have a nice example of Hapag-Lloyd. You'll actually hear from them shortly after. They are a great example of how Orange, Cisco, and Sita came together to enable Hapag-Lloyd to focus on improving the digital experience for its freight customers. Second, and maybe this is the most difficult one, the whole human and digital change. It's a big change for organizations to go from selling individual products and services to outcomes that customers are needing. Link & Co is a nice example here, where they purposely decided to recruit 70% of their employees from outside, precisely to enable this fresh perspective and to allow this shift in terms of the new requirements of the future. On top of that, the teams need smooth and seamless collaboration tools to be able to work together closely and adapt in a fast-changing environment. Third, it's all about enabling a secure and open digital platform that enables to innovate and adapt at speed and scale. And this consists of a couple of different components. First of all, an agile architecture. Applications right now have their home in different locations. Data and services that power them call for investment in automation and orchestration, and also data integration, which comes with the right protection as well. Here we have a very good example with BNP Paribas, and maybe Yves, you want to talk a bit about that.
Indeed, BNP Paribas, the international bank, has deployed SD-WAN from Orange and Cisco, taking a full advantage of a fully secure hybrid network that is natively multi-cloud, multi-access, and multi-application, impacting their corporate culture, their sales, and even AI-enabled marketing.
Thanks, Yves. And there's a couple more ingredients. Next one is connectivity and service management excellence. It's all about intent-based networking and advanced automation. And here we have another very good example with Wordly. You will hear from them as well. Wordly is using flexible SD-WAN, which is based on Cisco vEdge with a migration to cEdge. It's a service portal based on the ServiceNow platform. And finally, we also need prediction and AI-enabled automation. This is about predicting the impact of change, possible human configuration errors before they can cause problems. Again, a very good example of this would be Schneider Electric, and you will see a video from them as well, talking about how they have leveraged a Cisco Orange SD-WAN solution, but combined with 5G technology that enables their factories for use cases, including augmented reality. So quite a spectrum of very interesting examples that help us to achieve success in this whole shift. So I'm excited, Yves, about what we can achieve together and what the future beholds.
Indeed, very clear and a very exciting journey ahead of us. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Yes, thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you, Yves. There we go. Are you seeing this trend towards customers asking for more flexible contracts at play across your partner base?
Obviously, it's spreading everywhere. There is no single partner, vendors who is facing the same challenge. But the beauty of it is that it's a teamwork. It takes a lot of joint work to deliver this innovative
bring from the sporting world that we can apply into business when it comes to teamwork?
Sure. So, as we saw earlier today in this event, our environment is shaken and disrupted by deep underlying trends around green, digital, talent scarcity, agility. And as head of operations for Orange Business Services, and as many of you, I guess, my work is to rethink my organization to adjust to those trends and to adjust to the evolution of my customers' needs. And as you said, I'm indeed a former soccer player. I used to play in the French National First League with the team of Paris Saint-Germain. And I learned from there many things that are very useful in terms of teams management. And I will just share two very simple principles that I'm applying still today. The first principle is that the team should always prevail over individuals. You know, for instance, Qatar can spend as much money as they want into the men's team of Paris Saint-Germain to purchase players, great players such as Neymar or Messi, but they will win the Champions League only if and when they build a very cohesive team with a clear collective objective. And when we provide digital solutions, it's of course about not focusing on a single technological brick or a single product feature. What matters is really about the end-to-end customer experience and how the solution we are providing is interfacing with the broader business and technological ecosystem. So in the end, it's about the impact we make for our customers and for the society at large. And then, you know, in this perspective, we, for instance, just to give one concrete illustration, we used to have our service desks that were splitted between change and incidents and also splitted per product lines. And we are progressively moving to something which is much more unified across change, incident, and all the product portfolio to have a much more, again, end-to-end customer experience. Then, as I said, it's also about having a clear collective goal. And while Orange Business Services is becoming less of an operator and much more of an integrator, we are progressively moving from a process-driven culture towards something which is much more outcome-driven, trying again to focus on the impact we can make for our customers. And here, just to give one concrete illustration again, I recently changed the entire incentive scheme for my 8,000 staff worldwide. They no longer have operational KPIs in the collective bonus scheme. They are now driven by only 3 value creation objectives. The first one is to create value for our customers. It's embedded into customer satisfaction, NPS objective. The second objective is to create value for the company. It's embedded into an EBITDA target. And the third objective is to create value for the employees. And it's embedded into metrics around the development of our strategic skills. So this principle was about, you know, the team and the system being more important than the subcomponents. The second idea or principle that I learned from soccer is that autonomy is the key for success. You know, you can prepare a game, prepare your tactics as much as you want. The game will never happen as you had planned it. And what is important in that case is to have the players autonomously, smartly on the pitch to adjust and to do this in a synchronized way. And we saw clearly during COVID that, and during the past years that, you know, uncertainty is all over the place at the moment. Again, COVID, we have this also this chipset shortage worldwide. We need to adjust constantly. We have to move toward much more agile culture and agile framework. And it reminds me about what we call the so-called total football principle that rised in the 70s, which was about saying, in a football team, you still get defenders, midfields, kickers, but depending on the circumstances of the game, depending on the moments of the match, they will all attack or all defend. And clearly, increasingly, what we see is that we need to rethink and to refocus our priorities very quickly, depending on circumstances. We saw that again during COVID, when we had to focus our energy, our activities on a given country suddenly, or on another one, depending on the lockdowns. We had to shift from one product line to another, depending on the customer priorities. And my view is that increasingly we will move away, we will need this agility, we will need this flexibility, and we will move away from the static job description principles to go toward people having multiple roles and shifting very quickly from one to another.
This is a fantastic analogy. I also see in sports and business worlds that data and analytics are essential to improve the performance of any sports team. So how do you and your teams use data to improve the way you run operations?
So indeed, the use of data in sports and the use of data in business is I think, a good analogy again. When you look at football teams, what they used to do is to use data in silos and in a different way when they started to leverage data. Just, as an example, they've been using data to analyze individual performances, or also to use at competitors' statistics to prepare games with video clips and so on. On our side, we've been doing the same, again, leveraging cold data to analyze them and to improve our decision-making process. But the new competitive edge clearly is around real-time correlation and around predictive models. And here again, the best professional football teams have understood this. For instance, optical tracking can pinpoint the position of players in relation to the ball, in relation to teammates, in relation to opponents. And it does this 25 times a second. And it generates millions of data during a game. And if this data is used properly in real time, it can be a decisive insight into coaching and managing the team during the game. What we see as well is that the best professional teams, they are now building data scientist units. And what those units are doing is that they are building predictive models, and they are simulating game scenarios depending, for instance, on the players on the pitch. So for us, similarly, we are leveraging real-time data. We, for instance, are investing significantly to do real-time multi-service data correlation to improve our troubleshooting for complex incidents, especially incidents into the cloud. And we are also working on predictive models. We have, as an illustration, one experimentation which is ongoing at the moment to predict traffic patterns for our customers on a given site so that we can anticipate potential traffic congestion and we can act upon it before any problem happens. So, of course, all of this requires the right IT infrastructure, the right data referentials. It requires investments into the tools, into the skills, into new ways of working. And I know our customers are expecting a lot from us in this area, and I can tell you we are investing on this topic.
And you are ready. So with this move with the usage of AI and data analytics, why is the human touch more important now than ever in sports and in business? And how can this combination of being human and digital transform customer relationships?
So we talk a lot about data, AI, robots, and so on. And of course, they are wonderful tools, as I said, to improve our decision-making processes. They will progressively enable us to massively automate all the basic repetitive tasks and to build predictive models to improve and to gain efficiency. But what is for sure as well is that data and robots, they are things they cannot do. And for instance, the brain and the intelligence of robots is based on the analysis of past data, which means that they are not able to predict and to potentially properly react to totally new, unexpected events, like the so-called black swan events popularized by Nicholas Taleb. So They cannot deal with this, with what is unexpected. They cannot deal with the creativity, which is brought by a Zidane or a Maradona. And they do not deal with emotions. And just to give an illustration here, data can tell you who is the best penalty kicker worldwide today. And I made my research that it's Cristiano Ronaldo at the moment. But data will not be of any help to mentally coach the kicker while he or she will have to shoot the ultimate penalty in a World Cup final, for instance. Similarly, data will be very useful, instrumental in telling you if your teammate wants the ball on his right foot or left foot. But data will not tell you if you actually trust your teammate's ability, or even worse, if you want him or her to fail because you are competing with him or her for the golden ball at the end of the year. So in the end, it's all about the human touch. It's about the trust you have in a team, about people feeling being part of one team. And that's why we work so much on the intimacy we want to build with our customers. That's why we talk about this global vision, local care motto we have to really try to map our customers' governance to properly interact with them. That's why we want to deeply understand our customers' culture. And that's why as well we increasingly work in agile mode, with my teams being embedded into the customers' product teams, and again, working as one. So in the end, it's a lot about the human touch again, which is very important. We work on the system, we work on the culture, we work on the skills, we work on the tools, we work on the relationships to try to build high-functioning teams, as we do in professional sports. And we hope, as a consequence, to build a great end-to-end customer experience for you.
Thank you very much, Aliette, for sharing your experience, but also your vision with us. Certainly sounds like you have a lot of agility and organisational health and fitness at Orange Business Services. Oh, you're back. Well, now I'd like to welcome Asha back to the stage.
Yes, it seems that you're having fun here.
I am absolutely loving it.
Lots of agility.
I know, right? Lots of sporting exchanges as well. So,
Fantastic.
It's what we love. So you're back to tell us about what's up on the programme on Tada TV2.
Yes, the agility is also part of our event today. So Tada TV, Channel 1, where you are right now, in Tada TV2, where you will be joining us, me and my guests later on, hopefully. So you can juggle from both, channels. There are lots of content. So let me give you a quick summary of what's coming up. We'll be looking at how connected products and connected processes are generating real-time data flows that are revolutionizing business ecosystems and the customer experiences. We'll be hearing from Volvo Brand, Link & Co, Oricon, the NHS, IKEA, and Carrefour. So you just have to click on the Tada 2 button. I think it's at the bottom of your screen.
That's right. So meanwhile, over here on Tada 1, maybe we can tempt our infrastructure and ops friends to explore how firms deploying modular open applications and infrastructure for the acceleration age. We'll be hearing from Eco Online, Worley, NHS, amongst many other guests. But before that, I know that Kristof, you'd like to say a few words? No? I'm surprised.
Okay, well, good. Then thank you, Asha and Haley. First, we also started this event by talking about the need to transform the customer experience. And of course, that means as well that you need to start with changing also the employee experience, the operational experience, and bringing that together, of course, with the digital integration and also the trusted data. Now, Helmut already referenced it. The McKinsey study that said that over the last 18 months, connected products or digitalized products have kind of accelerated with about 7 years. And also in the same way, the customer interactions, also the supply chain interactions have accelerated with about 3 to 4 years as well. Now, we see that we're moving fast from an offline world to an online world. And that is really something that you can see in the e-commerce type of statistics, which have grown about 10% over the pandemic. Now, of course, that means as well that the time is really ripe for competitive disruption. And that means as well that anything around digital innovation has become even more important. Especially if you know that the Standards & Poor's 500 index, if you look at it now, the average age of a company is about 20 years. In 1950, that was 60 years. That's a factor 3. And of course, that means that please do stay with us also for all of those next slots, because there's a lot more information coming to you in terms of the learnings around disruption, the learnings around digital innovation. And to do that in more depth, you might want to look as well at one of those buttons that the ladies are trying to find, which are on the left. And there, I know that there's also the button to click for an expert meeting. And what that allows you to do is to go into a deeper session, to go through to your business requirements. And you can schedule that for later today or in one of the next weeks. And then, before we go to the break, there's another important set of information coming from Jens Hebler. He's the Senior IT Director at Hapag-Lloyd, a worldwide logistics and also shipping company. And he'll tell us about how he's dealing with, and his company is dealing with, transformation in this disruptive age.
Hapag-Lloyd is one of the biggest liner shipping companies and is seen as a leader in digital transformation. Its customers include logistics and freight forwarding companies, machine parts distributors, and suppliers of fresh produce. It's an industry undergoing dramatic change.
When I think of what is most excited for the future of our industry, 3 things come to my mind: reliability, sustainability, and digitization. Nearly 80% of all goods are transferred by ship. Reliable logistics chains are needed to support the world's economy like never before. To provide and to operate those chains, reliable data is an absolute prerequisite. Worldwide climate crisis challenges the whole industry and also logistics. We will have to deliver our own share in CO2 reduction by utilizing, for example, gas-powered ships or biofuel-driven ships. Also, we will have to provide CO2 data for each good we carry to our customers.
Hapag-Lloyd has transformed its customers' experience with Quick Quotes, the industry's first real-time online quotation tool that provides its customers with instant competitive rates for their shipments. This is complemented by a new customer contact center platform powered by real-time data.
In terms of customer collaboration, we introduced contact hubs called quality service centers in our house. Contact center technology, together with worldwide integrated IP telephony provided by Zeta and Orange Business Services, makes it possible to route customer calls out of nearly every country to our experts located in our quality service centers. Once a customer calls in, our expert gets all the customer data at her or his desk and is immediately enabled to act on the source of reliable data. This also pays into fulfilling our quality promises.
Logistics carriers, shipping operators, and ports face the challenge of ever-growing demand for goods around the world and need to deliver on their promises to the end customer. Digitization holds the key to managing the flow of both the products and all the related customs and CO2 data across land, rail, and sea routes to power just-in-time supply lines.
We founded our own data lake, which is the one source of truth for all our systems. Only with this data available at all points of cargo handling, you are able to drive the global supply chain. Ongoing digitization of logistics processes will also be a major topic for the future of the logistics industry. Looking at all those points, being in that industry is really exciting for me, and there's a long way to go into a bright future. Thank you.